Welcome to How's the Market? April 3rd, 2023. Jennifer Zoeller, Realty Realtor, Milwaukee Area. Waukesha, Washington. Wow counties. It's so funny. I was talking to my daughter and she's like, what are the wow counties? And it must be like our older generation thing, wow counties. Anyways, how are you today? Let's talk about what's going on in the market. In general, I feel like people are starting to feel like there's like an ease coming over the market, and I'm not sure if it's because the Fed, when they only went up 2.5, that kind of calmed people's fear, because before that, the rate was just escalating, and we just kept feeling like, what's next? And also the Fed gave indications that they're going to maintain, the rate over the rest of the year, and maybe that's the reason I feel like that it's maybe easing buyers' concerns. We still are not seeing a lot on the market. We'll dive into that a little bit further. But there's a little bit of an ease that we maybe haven't felt with for quite a few months on the market. So what did Michelle and I see in our showings and listings this weekend? This weekend, one of the things that we showed was a couple new constructions, and there were new constructions in Mequon and Cedarburg. And the thing with new constructions in Mequon and Cedarburg is they're a little bit more landlocked than, for example, Grafton, where you see a lot more new construction. And so we saw new construction in Mequon, some of those that are more in the city, and they were really beautiful. It's interesting when you're building new construction in cities, it's obviously a different kind of living than when you're building like a new subdivision where you're going to have half acres and that. And the nice thing I think about new construction, like in the city, is you're meeting everyone's needs, right? Like not everyone is going to want the family home with the bigger yard, more bedrooms. Some people are going to want like less work. They don't want to take care of a yard. They want more one floor living. They want to be able to walk in the city. Two of my girls, one lives in Chicago, one lives in New York. And the one who's in New York, she loves it because she walks everywhere. And I think in Wisconsin, we don't always have that where you're just walking everywhere. In Milwaukee, or in Mequon, kind of that Boxtown area, I feel like that we're starting to kind of get that walkability that's kind of building up there along Mequon Road. All right, so that's kind of what we saw. We didn't write any offers this weekend, but we did look at a few really nice new listings. So what's going on? So I want to share this stat. For the first time in 8 months, the home values have increased. Now remember, last week we talked about that for the first time in 131 months, year-to-year home value dropped. So February to February. So this stat is different. This stat is saying that home values were dropping. Again, first time year-to-year was last month, but overall, we had 8 months in a row where home prices were dropping. And so last month it raised 0.16. And if you look at the stat here, let's do this one up. And hello, trying to get there we go. Perfect. If you look at this stat here, you can see that's the 2008, 2009 time frame. There was like month after month of home value dropping. But then, we've really been on a constant rise of like home value rising month to month. And then we had 8 months in a row where the price dropped. But if you can see here on the end, it's starting to tick up again. Maybe that's kind of alluding also to that kind of a little bit of calm or ease that I feel like is coming over the market. That could be one of the reasons. The other thing, this is another interesting stat. Okay, homeowners, rent to own. So for the first time ever, more than 50% of millennials own a home. Millennials, again, are the age born 1980 to 1998, that age. First time now is that there are more homeowners than not, which I thought was interesting. That would take them to be, between 43 and 22 or so. If you look at this again, so those shows like increases in rent to own or rent versus owners, the beginning of it. There's fewer baby boomers renting. There's fewer baby boomers being an owner. Of course, that makes sense because as we get older, we move on. And so if you look back here again, millennials, there was a huge increase in how many they own. The blue here, big increase in millennial home ownership, and then a smaller decrease in millennials renting. And I guess that would be like moving out from mom or dad. That's why, they're not going to be a one-on-one ratio of like more renting, more moving in, because a couple things, people could be, moving in with somebody. They could be just taking a sublet. They could be living with their parents. Anyways, so that's why that is not exactly one-on-one. And then if you look at the end, Gen Zs. So Gen Zs are the youngest. They're like born 1998 till now, 24, 25. What you see, of course, these are both going to only be increasing because they're just moving into the market. Small increase in home ownership, big increase in home rental for Gen Zs. I know with my Gen Z, I have a Gen Z or two. I really am trying to encourage them to get into home ownership. I think, when I was younger, people were not as in tune and with as much knowledge about start renting, buy and then rent and start building your equity. Start building your equity at a young age. You're going to, by the time you're 30, 40, 50, 60, the home equity, the multiple properties is really going to pay off for you. All right. Then, the other thing I want to talk about is the 10-year rate. It's really been flirting right around the 3.5. And as we've talked about, so that means you're at on about 3 percentage points to get your mortgage rate. Historically, it's generally about 2 points difference. But with the economy, as far as like the indicators for the last couple of years, it's been 3%. So the 10 years at 3.5, that means our rates are around 6.5, which is what we're seeing, which is really good because I feel like it brings stability. It's another indicator that's bringing stability to the market. When rates are, whoa, I almost lost my microphone. I'm just concentrating on real estate, making up words. When 3.5, so when people get into the sevens on rates is when I think it starts to really, two things. People don't want to sell because they don't want to try to find a home, but also buyers are more hesitant to get a mortgage, even though, of course, there's products you can use, the 2 to 1, where you can get rate down 2% down for 1 year, 1 for another. Or you can do 5-year loan, 5-year ARMs. So there are products to help people, but I feel like when they start to hear 7, they're just like, hold up, and they take a minute. And then the other thing, so I wanted to talk a little bit about Ozaukee County here in Mequon. There we go. All right. So this is the inventory for Mequon. It's over the last 3 years. As you can see, like 2018, 19 decreasing. It's really just been inventory on market has been decreasing since like 2018. A little bit, and then there's a bigger decrease. I would say, bigger decrease to 2021, 2022. Kind of really low increase, and right now 2022 and 2021 have really remained the same. They can't go much lower than we are right now with 2023. 2022 and 2023 really remain the same, but it's almost about as low as it can be. We'll see what happens in the next month, April, May. That's really when we start to see, our heavy spring market, and so we'll see if that holds out and maybe. Again, I expect inventory to increase. It's just a matter of how much. Is it going to be year to year less still, or is it going to be maybe moving past like last year's 2022 numbers? And then let's just look at a couple stats here. Let's switch this up here. Let's switch up our luck. Okay. Let's not do that. I need a producer. That's what I need. I need a producer. Michelle. All right. Anyways, let's just look at these Mequon stats, just for an indication of like what's going on. So the median price in the last week, the new listings is 1.14. Again, Mequon is so depending on what comes on that week. So we've had a couple more $1 million homes come on. The medium list price is an average of 770, which, as you can see, if you look at the trend, that's a little bit lower. This is for 3 months. So the 3-month trend, the median price is down a little bit. Again, in MAC 1, it's so dependent on like what comes on the market. Price per square foot, as you can see, that is at $289, and that really has keeps trending up. It's a little bit dipped down, and we'll see if that's because of the market, what's coming on. I've kind of expect in April and May that the price per square foot might even actually decrease a little more because more houses in that 700 and lower will come on. Average days on the market still decreasing, and that's because of our low inventory. People want to get in their homes, and there's not enough. So your average days on the market, 35. The median days on the market is 4, so that means how long before you get an offer. Prices decreased 0.6%, which is a little bit, that's, if you look at that trend, that's our 8-month trend of the prices decreasing. We expect to see that to start to increase now. Inventory. And so again, you can start to see there's 18 in MAC 1. They're starting to see a little bit of swing up. So that's going to be 2 things that are causing the increase in inventory. That's going to be a few houses that need a little love and are still on the market, although there's very few of those even in MAC 1, and that there's a few more properties coming onto the market. So kind of in summary, what do we see? Okay, we see that the rates are about 6.5. It's been a little bit consistent for the last couple of weeks, hasn't kicked up to 7. We see similar low inventory numbers, so still a seller's market. If you're thinking of getting your home on the market, now is really the time to do it in the Ozaukee County area. We see also that for the first time in 8 months, first time in 8 months, that home price values have increased. Again, we had an 8-month lull of prices dropping a little. That, again, not to confuse with last week, and we talked about there was a year-to-year home value decrease, and that after 131 months. Again, so that means it's your home, you're generally going to earn 4% a year, 40%. Historically, 2010, you earned 48% increase in your home value. 2010 to 2020, you owned 40%. So, we started out 23 with a little bit of a decrease in the last few months, but overall, we expect by the end of the 2030, we're going to have increased our home value 40%. There's a few jobless numbers that'll be coming out this week. We'll be watching them because, again, the Fed has been using homes to kind of control inflation because jobless numbers weren't, they're giving them no ability to play with that number. I think with the bank collapse a couple of weeks ago, and the Fed's coming with a small rate, it maybe seems like they realize like you're like a kid who, I don't know, or adult playing with something, making something, just keep throwing in a few more ingredients that keep trying and not let anything settle. Seems like maybe the ease that's coming over the market is because the Fed maybe realized let's just calm ourselves. Anyways, that's this week, April 3rd, 2023. How's the market? If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call. Jennifer Zoeller, Realty Realtor, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.